Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, two blokes chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
Good morning to you, Denis Walter.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Good, thank you. And we've also got Sienna with us today. So if you hear a voice that doesn't sound like Rob or Neil, it will be Sienna.
Hello, Sienna.
Hello.
Denis, thanks for joining us. You now officially have moved into the hallowed halls of friends of the show when you've been on the program twice, once in human being form, like you were here, and now on the phone. So thanks for joining us.
Well, it's great to be back, and finally this concert's going to happen at Crown next Sunday.
And that's the primary reason we've got you on. Sienna, interestingly enough, is the first time we've had anyone else in the studio since that day you were here.
Really?
Yeah, so it's been a long time coming. Tell us briefly about the concert. We'll do a bit more about that at the end. It's at Crown next Sunday?
Next Sunday, 1 o'clock, and I think the state government's still the discount on buying tickets. I think still applies, which is a good thing for anyone who's buying a ticket late. But look, it's going to be fantastic. I've got a band made up of people from John Farnham's band, Little River Band, one of the Seekers. It's going to be terrific. Lisa Edwards is special guest on the program. We'll be doing a couple of duets with me. And also doing a couple of songs as the guest on the program from her new album.
Now, is that I'm Still the Woman? Is that the album we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had Lisa on here a couple of times as well. She is also a friend of the show. So it's a bit of a get-together of the Two Blokes Chatting Friends program next Sunday. It's
going to be fantastic. And Michael Cristiano, who's the musical director, is part of the original Seekers, and he does all Seekers arrangements and all that sort of stuff. So, and he produced the album Yesterday Once More, which was great.
And I think he also co-wrote some of the songs with Lisa on her new album. It's all like one big happy family.
Yeah, I was going to say that name popped up in the interview with Lisa and the impact that Michael had on her music as well. So he's obviously like there's a John Foreman who seems to do a lot of work behind the scenes and really support. So I guess, Denis, in your world, you're up front, but it's good that you mention all these people behind that certainly help you get where you are.
Oh, sure. Michael, to record with Michael is really fantastic. He lives in Keilor, and he's got his studio's under his house, but it's on the edge of that. You know when you go into the airport over the Whitten Bridge and you can see all that green belt that goes out through Keilor?
Yeah.
Well, his property is on the edge of that. So when you're standing recording your songs, you're actually looking out into the bush. It's absolutely terrific, and you're only 15 k's from the city.
And 3:47 into Hollywood 7 when she's coming on the aeroplane, you actually get the aeroplane noise coming in the background.
That's correct.
Very, very lifelike.
Coming.
So the album came out last year, and I actually bought the whole album during the week. I've been buying songs along the way. Every time we introduce you, I play a different song, and I thought, no, stuff it, I'll buy the whole album online.
Oh, good on you. Thank you.
And it's just a great album. I know we're preaching to the converted a bit here. Has it been as successful as you hoped?
Look, it started off gangbusters, as did everything to do with the concert. It was going to be absolutely jam-packed, but each time you postpone with the concerts, you lose tickets, and then you got to replenish them. But it's still going to be a good house next Sunday, which is great. The it's gone really well, but it's for many people it's probably a bit new territory for me because they don't expect some of the songs like Hollywood 7 that I would sing them. The only people who would be aware of that side of my voice, which is probably where I was singing before my career took off, are those who knew that I did a version of the Ship song, Nick Cave's song, which became a Triple J hit pick, which was a big thrill for me about 25 years ago. So it's new territory, but it's the music I really love to do.
Denis, when you were on last, I mentioned the fact that you blew the little bit of hair I've got back off when you performed at the Belmont Bowling Club, the RSL, and I was staggered at the versatility that you provided. But what I also noted was the enjoyment you had performing to those small, intimate audiences. That opportunity's been taken away because of COVID. Are you starting to get back into it and loving it as much as you ever did?
Yes. We're going to be working the album as much as possible over the next 12 months, which is great. I'm in Warrnambool in a couple of weeks in concert there with just with Michael, so it's sort of an acoustic one. But yes, I'm really loving the concept of getting back out there, and I've got dates at least a couple of months, probably between now and Christmas, and maybe more next year, which is great.
Now, I have to ask this question or else I won't be allowed home. Carols by Candlelight in Geelong, is it going to be happening in 2022?
My word, I've been talking to council. I've been talking to some potential naming rights sponsors. So it's all steam. As soon as the Crown show is over next week, it's full on. Let's get into organising carols for 2022. The first Saturday in December.
Excellent. There'll be a lot of Geelong people tickled pink with that. Now let's get it even closer to home. Tonight in town, rock quiz is coming. After we chat to you, we're going to be talking to Brian Nankervis, who's very much the heart and soul of that show. And I didn't realise again, and I apologise that not making the connection of Denis Walter to rock quiz, but you have that connection.
I've been on rock quiz many times and did the concert with them here at Costa Hall about 6 years ago on the Palais in Melbourne. And one of the biggest thrills of my career was in, I don't know what the year was, it would have been about 12 years ago. They did a concert at the Myer Music Bowl in the middle of summer, and they asked me if I'd come and do Crunchy Granola, and it went off, and it was really a big, big thrill, and I'm sure Brian will remember that.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. He's a big fan of that concept. Another thing that happened recently for me, which was very exciting, was going back to the Palais in Geelong. ABC presented the Friday review from there, and Goanna played in that band, and there was a lot of talk of the history. Did your career ever get you into the Palais?
No. I think I went to one dance at the Palais. That's where you used to have to walk right across a big dance floor to try and have a dance, and if you got knocked back, you had to walk all the way back.
Yeah, the walk of shame.
A bit like going out to bat and making a golden duck.
That's it.
Oh, well, there's where we've just identified where the Denis Walter Comes to Geelong with Yesterday Once More concert is going to be held.
Well, I'm really delighted that the family that's running the show, Tripolino family, they're looking to bring events and concerts back to the Palais. So, yeah, Denis, it may very well be that you do get to perform there as rather than walking across the floor embarrassed. That would be great because it's a beautiful venue. They've done it up really well, and it's a great part of Geelong's history, of course.
We've already had some discussion, but that was in the middle of COVID, so we'll see what happens.
No, that's really good. The radio career, Denis, coupled in with it's changed a bit from that prime time, but is it also still a very important and happy part of your life?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When they asked if I was interested to do nights, I said yes, as long as down the track I can do some broadcasting from home. Well, I've been pretty well from home for 2 years. And it's a 5-year contract. It's all everything good about it, and the ratings have been fantastic. So yeah, happy as.
Because we were approached, obviously, to take that slot ourselves, and we said, no, I think Denis was probably more the best option for that option. So with that particular time slot you've obviously got people who are regular listeners and regular contributors to the talkback on 3AW. What are you noticing about the mood of people and how you've been with them through the time of COVID, and as we come out the other side, how are you seeing the population responding?
It's interesting. With nights, you've got people who listen regularly and call regularly, but you've also got a sort of floating population of people who might have been out to dinner or they might have worked late. It's a whole different thing. The one thing that I have noticed is that the age group of the people who are calling, and particularly early in the night, is way down on what it used to be.
Okay.
Because we put a lot more content into the actual program. But look, I think people are largely happy and excited that COVID's on its way out, but I think they're pretty nervous about the world situation at the minute.
Yeah, because there's a chap who does a breakfast program on your station who we spoke to recently. We won't name him for obvious reasons, but when I was talking to Ross about it, one of the things that he was saying was that during the early stages of COVID, there was a real responsibility of people like you and he to, if you like, keep the spirits of the place up a bit, and I suspect that responsibility is diminishing a little.
Possibly, but yes, you're right, and that's a good way of summing it up, because people rely on 3RW for information, and they also rely on it very much for company, whether they're in the car at 10 in the morning or it's 10 o'clock at night, and they just want to be informed. But during COVID, you got this feeling every night, or at least from my perspective, and I know the others are the same, but people were pretty well hanging off every word to get them through a very awkward time.
Now, Denis, on the theme of connecting to the audience, one of our audiences sent a little message in asking if you remember, as a very young boy, prior to touring with Elton John, singing at the East Geelong Football Club Pleasant Sunday morning. Goodness, that's going back a while.
Yes, I do remember that.
Neville Whitley, the president, he would have been playing with East Geelong at the time. He remembers it very fondly and hoped you did as well.
Yes, I remember it. I remember any job that went well, I remember. My mind.
So tell us a bit about touring with Elton John.
Actually, I didn't tour with Elton John. I don't know where that came from, but I did go away with Liberace, but that's way back in 1972 or around then.
Okay. We celebrated one of his protégés, Jamie Redfern, last week because it was his birthday.
Oh, right.
We have a birthday artist each week, as you know, being a listener, and he was our birthday person. We spoke about that situation.
Did you actually talk to him?
No, we haven't been able to track him down, but we just feature our birthday artist first cab off the rank each Saturday morning.
Oh, great. That's a great concept.
Well, yeah. It's not very often I get to say this, but Neville Whitley, you're wrong. He didn't tour with Elton John.
And we've recorded that, and we will be putting that on the Geelong District Football League website. So to return back to your album and your concert, because we should let you go, is there plans for a Yesterday One More Time?
Yes, because it was very difficult to actually just come up with around a dozen tracks of the ones that you love the most, because I love the music of that era. So there's a fair chance there'll be another one. Because
the question that popped into my mind as I was looking through the album listing during the week, if you had to choose one song to go on, they said, no, we don't want 12, we want 13. Is there an obvious 13th that you'd love to sing?
I wouldn't mind re-recording, because I recorded it back in the 70s, the Peter Scallon, You're a Lady. I'd love to do that again.
Yeah, you'd have the whole brass band and everyone going.
Yes, I might get the Geelong Municipal Brass Band.
Denis, just on that theme, because you have surprised a lot of your fans with your latest contributions, Hollywood 7 being one of them, taking out rap and that other crappy sort of stuff, is there any particular genre that you wouldn't touch?
I can't see myself rapping.
No.
No, there's not really. Look, everyone thought I was going to be a classical singer, and I never had that desire, and everyone thought I'd be an opera singer. Was never going to happen. A lot of people thought I'd probably do theatre, which that was never going to happen as well. I had a period where I did country music. I love singing jazz as well, so... no, there's not really anything I wouldn't try, but what's on this album is what I love.
Yeah, well, it's good, and it really comes through, and it does open up the mind. Now, when I hear a song, you think, actually, Denis Wilder do a really good job of that, whereas before you probably wouldn't have thought like that. So you have opened up thoughts, and it's something that you haven't actually restricted yourself with, which is really good.
Well, this is really this is the me before the career took off as sort of the big ballad singer. So this is really what I was doing with the guitar.
And what a surprise it's going to be when you step up on stage at the 2022 Christmas Carols by Candlelight and open the batting with Hollywood 7 followed by Slippin' Away. That will no doubt surprise a few people.
That will indeed. Songs.
Denis, let's just talk through that concert or the event that you've got next week at Palms at Crown next Sunday.
Yes, it's we've decided to do it the week before Mother's Day, because Mother's Day can be a bit of a conundrum for people, because if you're going to a concert, say, in the city, it's going to pretty well take up all of your day, because the mums have got other commitments. So we decided the week before Mother's Day would be good. Still, it's a great event to take mum to, but it's an early afternoon concert. Everything will be wrapped up by about 3:30, so it should be terrific.
And if people are wondering about a last-minute Mother's Day gift apart from a ticket to see you and Lisa and the team, no doubt they could pick up a copy of Yesterday Once More in the foyer and take that home and wrap it up for the following Sunday.
Yes, after the show we'll be selling CDs. Remember CDs?
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Sienna's looking puzzled. She's only 24, so she's puzzled and not any idea what we're talking about. And are you going to be there to be scribbling on a few as well?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Straight out to the foyer to meet all the people. They don't have to buy a CD, but I'm looking forward to trying to shake as many hands as possible and get. There'll be a lot of 3AW listeners, of course, but no, I love doing all that. Have done that all my career.
Hopefully a lot of 94.7 The Pulse listeners as well.
And another one of them is connected. Although Belmont High School gets the credit, we should not forget your time at the Ceres Primary School, Denis.
Ceres Primary School, where music was a big thing. My auntie used to play the piano for all the school concerts, and then off to Belmont High, and Freddie Francis, our music teacher, was an absolute genius at motivating the kids to play their music and turn up on a Saturday morning for band practice at 8 a.m.
Magnificent.
Get home in time for the Two Blokes Chatting radio show.
And it's funny how a person, a teacher in your life can open up a pathway or change a pathway, and it's quite amazing. So well done on what you've done, and stunningly continue to do, and probably even better. Best wishes, and we're looking forward to Carols by Candlelight very much already.
Good on you. Thank you very much, and thanks for your support.
No worries. Denis, Walter, thanks for joining us.